It's 12 Can we eat dust? Good morning, honorable members.
Morning, Honorable Speaker.
Are you okay, Mr. Singh?
I'm well, Ma, and you?
I'm far better this week.
Thank you. Thank you. Looking brighter. Good to have you back.
Good day, Madam Speaker.
Good day. How are you?
Good day, Madam Speaker.
Good day, Daddy.
Good morning. I'm glad to hear the news you are giving to Honorable Singh. That's your problem.
Members.
You.
It's 8:20, so perhaps we should start the meeting. Are we all in?
Yes.
You are all welcome, members. Can we consider apologies if there are any?
Madam Speaker, I would like to register the apology of the Chief Whip, who is at the PAP.
Thank you very much. Is there any other apology? None? Can we go to the consideration of the agenda? Anybody calling for adoption?
I move, Honorable Speaker, for adoption.
Thank you very much. Is there a seconder to Untitled Chapter?
I will second.
Yes, I do.
Speaker.
Untitled Chapter with the ladies first, Mavroto has seconded. Thank you very much. We then go to the minutes.
It's always a pleasure to let them go ahead.
Honorable members, I put to you the minutes of the last meeting of the 20th of May. I take it that we have had sight, and therefore I will do the usual, take you through the first page if there is anything we wish to correct. None. Page 2. Any correction? None. We go to page 3. No correction. We go to page 4. No correction. In that case, I take it that we do agree that the minute of the 4th of May reflects our discussions, and therefore I call for anybody to call for the adoption.
Natasha calls for the adoption.
Thank you, Ms. Natasha. Any seconder to the Chief Whip of the DA?
I will second. Good. Dr. Mulder speaking.
Dr. Mulder, welcome. Thank you for seconding. We then, honorable members, move on to item number 4, matters arising. And at the council, is there anything arising?
Madam Speaker, I would just like to report on the issues that were raised, and just to indicate what has happened since. The Section 194 committee is captured on the first page. The Rules Committee has met on the matter, and Speaker has given it a feedback, and parties have been asked to submit names and been given until next week, Tuesday. So the matter is receiving attention. The framework for the rest of the year will be discussed by the Joint Program Committee next week. The proposals were presented to the WIPARI yesterday, and they will be presented today. Those will be the NA proposals into the JPC process. So that will be happening shortly. The matter of the NHI and the support to that committee was raised, and I would like to just again emphasize, Madam Speaker, that everything is being done to provide support, and the accounting officer has approved the support, and the matter is receiving the attention that it deserves. In terms of the GBV legislation, there is a bill. One of the bills will be considered next week, but that will be captured when we deal with the program later on. There was a matter regarding the absence of the acting minister in the presidency. Indeed, Madam Speaker, I would like to confirm that there was no prior indication. The information was obtained during the budget vote, but we became aware of a letter after the budget vote that was apparently meant to be sent to Parliament, but it came after the fact. But the Speaker is dealing with that matter, and but we just thought we should report back because the matter was raised in this meeting. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Ndate Kaso. Ndate Singh, your hand is up.
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning again, Honorable colleagues. Thank you to Honorable Costa for that report, particularly the last item, which I appreciate that you're dealing with, the absence of ministers in the House without notification to the WIPARI. Honorable Speaker, I raised this yesterday, and perhaps I must raise it with you. Parliament's busy planning our program and our recess and constituency periods on the basis that elections are going to be on the 27th of October. And perhaps the Motsoeneke Commission needs to inform Parliament of when they think they are going to complete their work and make recommendations, because that's certainly going to impact on the way we program ourselves. I mean, we might be compressing things which we don't have to. We might be not, dealing with certain matters that we should, as a matter of course, be dealing with. And perhaps a letter to them to say, when do you expect your work to be finished? So it will guide us as we deal with the matters of the program. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you very much, Ndate Singh. As a matter of fact, we discussed that with Ndate Kaso this morning. We think that we might, Ndate Kaso, be able to send off a letter by end of business today, just to make the inquiry on the matter you are raising. Honourable members, those were the only two hands I had. Should we proceed to another item if there is nothing else arising? Thank you very much. We then proceed to committee section. Ndate.
Good morning, Madam Speaker, honorable members and colleagues. Our reports will start on slide number 3. On this slide, we highlight the issues that are likely to be finished before the end of the term. We just want to emphasize the issue of gender-based violence bills. One of the bills is already completed, that is criminal and related matters. The other two bills will be finalized tomorrow. The next update is on slide number 6. On this slide, we highlight the committees that are planning to meet during recess so that members can plan accordingly. The next update is on slide number 7. On this slide, it's the ad hoc committee to amend section 25 of the Constitution. The committee is busy with the deliberations until the 28th, and that is when the committee is aimed to finalize its process. Next update is on slide number 10. On this slide, it is Employment Equity Amendment Bill before PC on employment and labor. The committee had a meeting with the department, and they are also planning the second meeting on the 2nd of June for the department to respond to oral and written submissions. The committee is planning to finalize the bill during the third term. The next update is on slide number 11. That is Compensation for Occupational Injuries and Diseases Amendment Bill before PC on employment and labor. The committee is also planning to finalize the bill during the third term, but will have a meeting with the department to consider oral and written submissions. The next update is on slide number 23. On this slide, it is the traditional courts bill before PC on justice and correctional services. The committee was planning to finalize the bill on the 21st of May, but has now postponed. The committee would like to get an external legal opinion on the constitutionality of the bill. The next update is on slide number 26, my apology. On this slide, it is the PC on agriculture, land reform and rural development. The committee has finalized the liquor products amendment bill. The next update is on slide number 32. On this slide, it is the fiscal responsibility bill before Standing Committee on Finance. The committee postponed its public hearings on the 25th to the 1st of June. The next update is on slide number 33. On this slide, it is PC on health, the National Health Insurance Bill. The committee is planning public hearings that will also be held on the 1st of June. The next update is on slide number 53. On this slide, it's statutory appointment before PC on justice and correctional services. The committee has finalized the filling of vacancy for South African Human Rights Commission. The next update is on slide number 54. It's also the statutory appointment before PC on women, youth and persons with disability. The committee has finalized the shortlisting and will start with the screening process today. This concludes our report, Madam Speaker. Honorable
members, the floor is yours. I think I have general happiness. Nobody is taking the floor. Ndate Frolic, please.
Good morning, Honorable Speaker. Good morning, members. Speaker, just to inform the Programming Committee that we had an incident in the Ad hoc Committee dealing with Section 25 of the Constitution last week. Now, Honorable members, when a committee requests a legal opinion from the legal services in Parliament, it is possible that some members of the committee may not agree with that opinion. However, once the request has been made, legal services is compelled to supply that committee with the request that was made. And in this instance, there was unfortunate comments that were being made by an honourable member, and I've spoken to the chairperson of that committee about it, and I'm also writing to him, that Parliament's legal services have somehow been infiltrated by certain forces and all of these type of things. Now, we cannot take these comments lightly, Honourable Speaker, because it will have far-reaching consequences if this becomes the trend. If the member was unhappy with the legal opinion that was provided, the member is within his right to say that they don't agree with it. But to say that the legal section has been infiltrated is taking it a bit too far, and it must be substantiated. So the legal opinion will serve in front of that committee. They requested it, and then the committee must decide what they want to do with it, Honourable Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Frolic. I see the Honourable Shibambo has his hand up.
No, thanks, Chair. It's actually me who said that the legal office has been infiltrated, and I stand by that. And I can substantiate it. We'll actually write to the Speaker, to everyone else who can deal with this, to illustrate how, since we've adopted this process of the expropriation of land without compensation, the legal office has been at the forefront of distorting the mandate of Parliament. So since 2018, 27 February, when we took the first resolution on expropriation of land, like currently, the legal opinion that is given coincides with the right-wing forces' opinion. And it cannot be correct that, like, this legal opinion is a political perspective that seeks to dissuade the Parliament from implementing what we agreed, because we agreed in principle that there must be expropriation of land without compensation, and we just have to put that into the constitution clearly as an ad hoc committee. And when all the time we're dealing with that, we're always dissuaded through so-called legal opinion. It's problematic. We're going to write here illustration that this is not, it's beyond legal opinion. It's an infiltration that seeks to dissuade us from achieving what we had agreed in principle, all of us, and we'll never allow that. So I'll write to the speaker to illustrate just how the legal office has been involved in misconduct of infiltration and misguiding the committee in terms of what it has to deal with. So I'm going to lodge an official complaint and substantiate on it. And we're not apologetic about it. No, we'll never apologize about it because it's a correct observation. Thank you.
Seeing you have your hand up.
Thank you very much. There's some noise coming through. I don't know where from, Honorable Speaker, but I hope I'm audible.
I can pick it up also.
Yes.
Please proceed.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, just following on what Honorable Frolick said and Honorable Shivambu, I think this is an extremely serious matter that would perhaps require an independent commission of inquiry, because we cannot have these untested statements made and allegations made without an independent commission of inquiry. And I believe that if we have to have an inquiry, the Speaker's office may be conflicted, because the Speaker actually is responsible for all the legal people within the department. So that's something I'm suggesting. But whilst we're on Section 25, my understanding is that that committee is supposed to report by the 31st of May, which is a few days from now. Is that going to be practically possible with all these challenges that we are having on legal interpretation, etc.? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ntate Mulder?
Yes, thank you, Honourable Speaker. I'm happy that this now has been discussed at this programming committee meeting so that all members can hear the kind of allegations being made against legal services. These are very serious allegations. The Honourable Shivambu has already indicated last Friday that he's going to write a letter. It seems he hasn't done so. He's now saying he's going to write a letter. I think he should do so. But with all due respect, ma'am, if I understand him correctly, the claim he's making is to say that since the start of this specific process, the ad hoc committee, that is when legal services were infiltrated. Now, that's a very serious allegation to make. I would also like to see it investigated, and if it's not the case, and I believe it's not the case, then I would ask that the necessary steps be taken against the Honourable Shivambu, because we can't allow this kind of behaviour.
Thank you, sir. That is what?
No, thank you, Speaker, and morning to everyone. Speaker, this is not the first time these allegations were raised. They were raised in a previous meeting when I was in attendance, and I objected to the assertions that were made, and I indicated that if the Honourable Shivambu has a different view legally, he can obtain and bring his legal view. But to cast aspersions on staff members is unacceptable. One must bear in mind as well that they are also employees, have certain rights, as well as certain of them are advocates. They are officers of the court. So I think we need to consider this in a very serious light. We still to date do not see any substantiation. This has been made on public platforms, and I object to it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ntate. Ntate Imam Sheikh?
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker. I must agree with the honourable members that have just spoken before me. Honourable Speaker, it is common knowledge that, one legal expert will differ from another legal expert, particularly in the case when they give you an opinion. And you don't all the time agreeing on it. But that does not give us the right that if we do not agree with an opinion provided by a specific legal expert, that we must discredit them and cast aspersions onto their good character and integrity. I think it is totally unacceptable, and I think the matter needs to be dealt with accordingly. Now, this particular legal services has an absolute responsibility on behalf of Parliament to provide legal opinions, and they must give the legal opinion based on their ability to be able to provide that. And I don't believe we have the right to question the integrity and make unfounded statements, and this is what happened. Honourable Speaker, the problem we have is that at Parliament level, because members enjoy certain level of indemnity, they continue to cast aspersions on the good character of many people on the executive and others as well. And I think we need to deal with this matter at some stage. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Memazoni?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, this issue has been ongoing not only within the parliamentary realm, but externally as well, where aspersions have been cast on the judiciary as well as on the legal fraternity. And I think that it goes to show the lack of respect that exists and the lack of collegiality that exists in the parliamentary framework, which makes it incredibly difficult for those members of parties who are trying to do the work of the people. It just hampers the process. And it's very clear that when a process isn't going the way a certain party wants a process to go, or there is an opinion that a party disagrees with, they cast these kind of aspersions. Now, one of the problems that we have is that there is no comeback and there is no accountability to members who continuously break the rules of Parliament and continuously cause disruptions and cast these kind of aspersions. And I say this because the Ethics Committee and the Powers and Privileges Committee just don't meet often enough. So we can lodge a complaint, we can file our unhappiness with you on this particular public forum, but we all know that nothing will happen to members of Parliament who behave in this manner because there's never accountability that is taken. Now, I would like to see some accountability being taken against members who put Parliament in this kind of light, and certainly who cast aspersions against those who work for Parliament and those who are in the legal fraternity. It is not okay, and it is creating a system of havoc in Parliament that is being done in a deliberate fashion. And if you cannot substantiate your motion, you may not make these kind of utterances in the House. So, Madam Speaker, I would like to formally move that this programming committee agrees to investigate the aspersions that the party has cast on our state law advisors and who are members and employees of Parliament, and that be our starting point too. Because what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And if someone is going to cast aspersions without any proof or any evidence and wait for over a week and continuously say that they're going to write a letter and they don't, that in and of itself is breaking the rules and privileges of Parliament. You don't have indemnity if you cannot substantiate what you say in the House. And I would like to see that matter being investigated by yourself and your office, and equally so as we hold people to account, we as members of Parliament must also be held to account. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Ndate Frolik, I have not ignored your hand. I thought I'd give you the last chance. I'll take the other members before I come to you, sir. Mem Kalipi?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Ndate Shivambu have not killed anyone. Ndate Shivambu is a member of that ad hoc committee and he have a right to his opinion. So if we have different opinions to the legal advice that was given to the committee, I don't think there is anyone who have a right to say he must be investigated. Otherwise, there is no, we don't have to be in the committees. We must not be members of any committees if we are not going to be speaking very freely. So I'm suggesting that, Madam Speaker, let us allow the process of members to engage on committees. If a legal advice is informing a certain narrative, I think that member or whoever who wants to speak in the committee has a right to say that, no, I don't agree with you. So coming here in order to threaten any member because he was speaking to the committee, I think, Madam Speaker, is very unfortunate and is very unfair. And Madam Speaker, it must be very, very, very clear that we are not going to agree to that narrative that is pushed in this programming committee as if Honorable Shivambu have killed anyone. He is a member of that committee, is entitled to his opinion. That is my first point and my first comment on the ad hoc committee as there is a discussion. The second one that I want to comment on is on the NHI. Last week, Madam Speaker, Honorable Frolik here also have a very serious concern in terms of how is this committee is going to work. So we need to get a feedback because Babu Kaso have said that no, they are going to look at that concern that he raised. So we need to know if that committee is going to be supported, as we know that people who have been supporting these ad hoc committees have been fired by this parliament. I even wrote to you, Speaker, to say that it's going to put us in a very disturbing way. So we haven't get any response. And I was very happy last week when Honorable Frolik was also mentioning that these committees are not going to be supported fully because Parliament have fired people who have skills. So I think that we need to get a feedback in that regard. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, ma'am. The Honorable Lichisa Tenodi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the requirements for our conduct in committees of Parliament is that we must use language that is appropriate, that we should not use inflammatory language, and especially towards staff who cannot defend themselves in those meetings. So that's the first point I thought I should make, and request that the onus is on the member who made such a hectic statement, Honorable Shivambo, towards that section and that department. The onus is on him to provide that evidence he suggests may exist. But even if he thinks so, how do you say such a thing to someone who cannot defend himself? I find that inappropriate, and it is the kind of language that is not acceptable. I don't think we should be forming an inquiry of anything until we get evidence to work with, because there isn't anything to investigate unless there is evidence that is suggested. Even that evidence, how do you say it? And only afterwards say you will provide evidence. The rule is that you don't use such language. And if you want to use it, you must provide evidence first. That should be the basis on which you do it. I suggest that that be the expectation that we have, that within a very short space of time, Mr. Shivambo must provide the language, the evidence to what he is suggesting, but also that it is appropriate that to withdraw such statements to a member, to a staff member who has not been able to respond on their own behalf inside meetings. And I think it's inappropriate that we do that as members. We have to respect staff. That's the first point, whatever the allegations may be, and so on. I thought I should make that point, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mayor Lakude.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. It is quite disturbing, Honorable Speaker, to hear such allegations against the staff. We've been working with the Parliamentary Legal Services in many committees, and we have never doubted their opinion. So for us as members of Parliament to level such allegations and not follow the necessary processes of substantiating our accusation, it's quite unfortunate. I think that Honorable Shivambo should write to the Speaker and submit his substantiated evidence against his own allegations towards the legal services. It cannot be. I do agree with my colleagues who are saying that we cannot do this to staff members who cannot have that opportunity to defend themselves in a committee meeting. So if we don't agree with any opinion that is brought forward, I think that we have a right to seek other legal opinion than to cast aspersion without us substantiating it. So this incident is very unfortunate and not acceptable, Honorable Speaker. Unless you make those allegations, it was made last week. We're supposed to have, today is Thursday, it's another week. We're supposed to get that substantiated evidence that was supposed to have been submitted to the Speaker. But unfortunately, up until now, there's nothing. So it means that we will keep on discussing this without any substantiation. Because if it was a real burning issue that the member was feeling. He was supposed to have written there and then to the speaker about this. But up until now, there's nothing. So it's very unfortunate and not acceptable at all. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you very much. And Tate Floyd, are you coming back for the second time?
Yes, I am, Speaker. Look, you know, like we have got the right to question the integrity of people who do not give legal opinions that have got integrity. I'm talking now that the committee, in essence, has rejected with contempt what was proposed by the legal office. And because we realize that this is pure nonsensical, how do you say we must go and spend a lot of money as Parliament listening to public submissions, and when we're about to finalize the submissions that was given by the people, we then come as a legal office and say, no, you can only speak on 2 subsections of a clause that you're about to amend, after having undergone an extremely extensive, expensive, and cumbersome process of public consultation. And then someone says that, no, whatever you have done there, all these inputs that came from the people mean absolutely nothing. You must just be reduced to 2 aspects of the section that you're dealing with. That is problematic, and this is consistent, and it came in the beginning in the context of a draft bill which deliberately missed the point in terms of what Parliament had resolved. Now, Speaker, there is absolutely nothing wrong with criticizing and giving opinion on legal practitioners, whether they be judges or public protector or human rights commission. We have got a right as people of South Africa to criticize them if they do something wrong. We've got a right if we think that their opinions borders on misconduct to identify that. There's nothing wrong with that. And no one will ever intimidate us about that. Where have you ever seen that when a person is lodging a complaint against someone, we then say that that person must be investigated and be charged? What nonsense is that? What kind of nonsense is that where you say that because Floyd has raised an issue about a person, that person he must be investigated? What kind of democracy is this? I think that some people have got a nonsensical approach and understanding of democracy. We have got a right to observe wrongdoing. And we have observed wrongdoing now in terms of the legal office. We are going to write a substantial, and the good thing is that there was no need to do that because already the committee had rejected the nonsensical opinion that came from the legal office.
The committee has rejected nothing. Keep to the truth.
No, honorable members, let us not degenerate. Ntate Shibambo, I was calling you on you. You have every right to express your opinion. You have every right to reject a legal opinion. But I think in a meeting such as this one, we also must watch our language. It is not on to say the inputs of other members are nonsensical when they express their opinion. They must respect your opinion. You must respect theirs. Honorable members, I see that Ntate Mulder, Ntate Singh, and Ntate Imam Sheikh's hands are up again, and Menatasha. Do you wish to repeat yourself?
I was not done, Speaker, and I was not done. Unless if you have speaking.
Point of order, Madam Speaker. I do wish to make a point of order. Madam Speaker,
can you
may I
just
raise a point of order?
Ntate Chisa, just hold off. I have put a question to the other members who've raised their hands. Are you coming back, Honorable? Or did you forget to take your hands off?
No, Madam Speaker, it's a new point. It's just a point.
It's a new point.
Yeah, let us.
Okay. Yeah, no, I wanted to clarify that.
Okay. Let us not. Can I continue, Madam Speaker?
No, let me allow Honorable Shibambo to finish off.
Okay. Thank you.
You said you had not concluded, sir. Please conclude.
Now, this is what is going to happen, Speaker. We're going to write a substantial complaint to illustrate that the opinions of the legal office have bordered on misconduct and reflect the opinions of right-wing forces in terms of the issue of expropriation of land without compensation. So we're going to lodge that complaint, and you will realize that consistently those coincide with the forces of reaction, and we'll illustrate that far much more cogently, and we'll realize that we do not have a legal office, but we've got a department of right-wingers that is acting
Point
like
of order, Madam Speaker.
like as
Point
if it's a
of
legal
order.
office of parliament, and that is
Madam
one
Speaker.
in terms of.
He is concluding. Natasha, I'll give you a chance. Please conclude, Honorable Floyd.
And then there is absolutely nothing wrong with us observing misconduct. And if people they'll illustrate to us that they do not have misconduct, we'll then deal with that. Now, let me tell you what is happening in the committee. We were advised to only talk about 2 sub-clauses only, but we rejected that. We are discussing the entire Section 25 now against the so-called legal office, which has misled Parliament in terms of what we're supposed to deal with. And we have done that successfully. We will finalize the report, we'll table in Parliament in terms of what will be the way forward, and we'll take it from there.
Okay. Honorable members, we have taken a lot of the time of this meeting dealing with a matter which we should really be saying, one, we expect in Dr. Floyd that letter to be with us. That letter has to substantiate the infiltration rather than the wrongness of the opinion. Because when an opinion is given to us, it doesn't matter whether it is an outside leader or a legal opinion or an internal legal opinion, members have the right to express themselves, whether they agree with the opinion or not, and to actually argue right there and there why they disagree with that opinion. So I would want to beg all of you that we do not prolong this discussion on this matter. Let us get to that letter from the Honorable Floyd pointing us to where the infiltration is and substantiating it there so that we can then make a determination whether or not to do what the members are saying to investigate further. There is also an opinion from members only that in fact we might want, and it is also something which is echoed by Ndade Sin, that we might want to look elsewhere other than the Speaker's office investigating. But that depends on what we will get out of the written submission from the Honorable Floyd. I am loath to go into a discussion because I saw that members' hands kept on rising when there was reference made to infiltration, the right-wingers and whatever. But if we do that, we are going to degenerate this meeting into a political meeting, which we really shouldn't be doing. So unless, honorable members, there is a point that cannot be held back, I had wanted to go back to Ndade Frolic to conclude this matter because he put this matter on. So I will ask again, is there anything other than that which has provoked you from the response of Ndade Frolic that you want us to deal with? Because now I have
yes, Honourable Speaker.
Ndade Singh, I'll give you that.
Okay. Honourable Speaker, yeah, I agree with the approach that you have suggested, but it's the question still begs, do we as Parliament and do we as this committee feel that, as the programming committee, feel that the committee that has been assigned this responsibility of looking into Section 25, would they have completed their work adequately? Given all these things that we are hearing, and we've got a deadline of 31st of May imposed by the House, is that not something that we should be considering to extend, to allow all these other processes to unfold? That's my question, Honourable Speaker. Thank you.
Yes, no, it's a valid question that is saying, but we can only respond to it after interacting with the committee itself, so that we do not take it for granted that because of the difference on the legal opinion, they cannot conclude. Let us then be enabled to go back to the committee to find out whether they still think, and then come back maybe and confer whether we look at another extension or whether they are ready. Is there any other member with an issue? I still have Ndade Mulder, Ndade Julius.
Honourable Speaker, I'll be very brief. I'm also serving as a member of that committee, and I think we just need some clarity in terms of what we are saying at the moment, in terms of the process. The programming committee is not interested in any political party's interpretation of any legal opinion. That's the party's prerogative. What we are dealing with now is the allegations that the legal services of Parliament, the total legal services, have been infiltrated, and that is what needs to be substantiated by Mr. Shivambu at the speed of light. Thank you.
That is exactly what the point I was making, that what we will get from the submission of Ndate Shivambu is to substantiate that in fact there is infiltration. Ndate Julius, you have a burning issue?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Yeah, good. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Now, mine is just that given the time frame and the tight time frame of this committee, can Mr. Honorable Shivambu can give us or be given a deadline when to submit this letter, because that will also impact on the time of this committee, like Honorable Singh said. Thanks.
Yeah, no. That we will attend to. Ndate Frolik, do you want to come back?
Yes, thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the committee is on track to report to the House by the 31st of May. The issue of an extension of the deadline has not arisen. The legal opinion is serving in front of that committee, and they will express themselves, the different parties, and that will be in the report. And once the committee has finalized their report, Madam Speaker, it will come to the House, and that is where the House will take a decision. The issue of these, the letter that the Honourable Shivambu will send about legal services, at this stage has no bearing on the work of that committee. We must allow the committee, the chairperson, to finalize the process, the mandate that the House has given them, and report back to the House, and then we can take a decision.
Thank you very much. It seems to me, Ndate Singh, Ndate Mulder, you have then been responded as to the process. If the committee thinks it is on track, despite the differences on the interpretations of the legal opinion, I think we should leave it at that. And Ndate Frolik is supposed to know, because he is responsible for those programs. Honorable members, now I think we must accept that we will get a letter from the Honorable Shivambu, and we will deal with this matter further. And we will be able to brief all of us as to where the process is the next time we meet. Can we leave it at that, please? Is there any other matter arising from the report from the committee section, honorable members?
Honorable Speaker.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. My hand has been up for the longest time, and you have not noticed me, but you noted Honorable Singh and Honorable
no. You know, you must apologize. It says Natasha, and so I'm sorry, ma'am.
So really, like.
No, take the floor. I thought it was members only, and that is why I keep on forgetting. Yeah, please take the floor.
I even had to alert staff that my hand is up. And
no, I saw the hand, but
so no, we are in agreement with the Deputy President of the EFF, Honorable Speaker. And we're not going to be told by imaginary advocates as to when our letters is going to be sent. We will send a letter as the Deputy President have said it. And your good office will receive the letter. We will really not be told by people that have portraying as advocates and then later on change it to matric. That is not going to happen. My second point is, Honorable Speaker, it's on the committee section report on the labor issue. I see on page 10 and page 11, they have said that dealing with the Employment and Equity Amendment Bill, and we have received a notice from the committee with only one bill. So, and then on this report, it states the Equity Amendment Bill and not the Compensation for Occupational Injuries and Disaster Amendment Bill. Can the committee section just explain to us what has happened so that we are moving with a coherent program and not working with uncertainties? Because the public is following this issue very closely. And then can we also no, and then also the other thing, Chair, the last one, Speaker, is the order paper. We don't get our order papers in time. Can they please send the order papers on time so that we can be able to assist with our work? I don't know where is it having a hold up, Mr. Klausel. Can you please just assist there so that we can get our order papers on time? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And Tate Kaso, Tate Dau, you will respond to the issues raised directly involving the committee section report. Mayor Natasha, it would be very good for us to also not bring in how you started. The language we use, honorable members, must not define our disagreements. We must disagree on substance. And therefore, I would say that can we just desist in name calling and denigrating one another? It does not help the image of Parliament at all. Ndate Tau, can you respond to the other questions which Natasha put to us?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I did not get it well, but if I got it right,
she referred to page 10, I think.
Yes, slide number 10 and 11.
Why you're only reflecting on only one bill when there should be at least two bills that are before the committee.
Madam Speaker, there are two bills. On slide 10, there is Employment Equity Bill, and on slide number 11, there is Compensation for Occupational Injuries and Diseases Amendment Bill before PC on Employment and Labor. The two bills appear.
All right. Natasha, you covered now on that issue of the labor bills.
Yeah, partly so, Chair. I was just saying, in terms of the committee notice, we only received a notice of one bill, but maybe perhaps it's still coming.
Yeah, so we must, and Dr. Frolik will see to it with the chairperson and that administration. And then you raise the issue of the order paper. And Dr. Kaso, can you respond on that?
Madam Speaker, thank you. We will establish what might have been the issue in relation to getting the order paper to Honorable Tlangwini. But the order paper is sent at the same time that the link is sent to the honorable members. And as soon as we get approval for the order paper to be sent out. But we'll establish if there's any particular issue around the email system affecting honorable members of the EFF. Next.
Please do. Dr. Julius, is it a new point? I think you may have forgotten the hand. Honorable members, if these are all the matters we have under item number 5, can we proceed to item number 6?
No, it's lowered, Madam Speaker. I'm sorry for that.
Is it low? Oh, okay, bro. I must apologize for calling you, bro. You are an honorable member. Can we move on to item number 6, the Bills Office?
Good morning, Honorable Speaker. It's Tobile from the Bills Office. On our report today, on Section A, there are 5 bills on the NA order paper. On item 1, the Committee on Agriculture reported on the Liquor Products Amendment Bill. The bill is on the order paper for consideration. And on Section B, there are 37 bills before committees. On item 37, we have the Criminal Procedure Amendment Bill introduced yesterday, SB 12 of 2021, and is a proposed Section 75 bill. And the bill has been referred to the Portfolio Committee on Justice. And out of the 31 bills on the 2021 Executive Legislative Program that was submitted by the LOGB, 6 bills have now been introduced. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The floor is open. Member Jackie, I see your hand is up. Are you on the Bills Office?
Yes, Honorable Speaker, and good morning.
Good morning.
Trying not to sound like a scratch record. Last year we talked so much about the wage bill, the Women's Empowerment and Gender Equality Bill, to say that we need to look at it's coming back to Parliament and what processes are required. Up to now, it's still quiet, and it actually is frustrating the Women's Caucus because it's part of the instruments that will be used by the Women's Caucus to actually manage to monitor the mainstreaming of gender issues. Because even now, we're going to be having BRRRs. They would have actually liked to have a proper way of knowing how to actually monitor how gender issues or women's issues will be mainstreamed within the budget of Parliament. I would actually just like to have an idea as to what is happening and what is actually being done to try and bring back that bill into Parliament. Thanks, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Is there any other input on this matter? Do we know where the bill is stuck? We all don't know.
Madam Speaker, we will establish. I do know that we had made inquiries previously, but that information might be obsolete now. But we'll establish where it is exactly. It's not within the system of Parliament. So we'll just establish with the executive how far that bill is, if it is coming back at all. But we'll establish and provide information. We will do our best to provide information even before the meeting of next week. Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Mayor Majake, we will do our best. Can we move on to item number 7, honorable members? Mayor Majake, you are on the floor.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Today we are on week number 12 of our third term program. The program that will actually be stretching from 4th of May and ends next week, the 4th of June. And it's going to really give us a very, very long recess period of about 10 weeks, noting the fact that this has been a request from members because of the work that the members want to be doing in relation to campaigning, preparing for local government elections. So today is Thursday the 27th. We are on programming committee meeting, and it will be followed by multi-party women's caucus at 14 hours. We will have plenary for business as listed. Mainly it's just about business on salaries and allowances for various entities, the public protector, deputy public protector, South African Human Rights Commission commissioners, the judges of the Constitutional Court and judges. And then also there will be that debate on urgent matter of public importance. Tomorrow, Friday the 28th, we will have a debate on the 25th anniversary of the Constitution. It's going to be a joint sitting. The last week of the term, third term of Parliament, is the week of week 13, with Monday the 31st of May being Constituency Day, Tuesday the 1st of June between 10 and 13 hours. We will have committees and mini plenaries will commence between 11 o'clock and 13 hours 15. At 14 hours, we will have plenary for business as listed. And what's important to note is the debate on vote to Parliament, and also we'll have our Youth Day debate. The theme is there as listed. Wednesday, the 2nd of June, between 9 and 13 hours, we'll have committees. At 10 o'clock, we'll have Chief Whip's Forum. At 14 hours up to 19 hours 30, we'll have debate on vote 1, the presidency. Thursday, the 3rd of June, 8:30, we'll have programming committee meeting. It will be followed immediately by joint programming committee meeting that will actually be looking at the revised parliamentary program framework. At 10 o'clock on Thursday, the 3rd of June, we'll have caucus. 14 hours, we'll have resumption of debate on vote 1, the presidency, in a form of reply. And then we'll have also business as listed. The 4th of June is a Friday, and we will have plenary that begins at 10 o'clock for business as listed. Our constituency period stretches from the 7th of June to the 16th of August. Like I've actually indicated, a lot of months that will be available for members to be in their constituencies. And also when the framework will be presented by Mr. Kaso, members, you will realize that we have actually also tried to include an additional 4 weeks of constituency period around September, just to make more time for campaigning before the elections. And then also, what is important is that we have actually noted the requirements, statutory requirements in terms of the parliament cycle, with business having to be shifted around, but also observing the statutory requirements. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you, ma'am. I see Ntate Singh's hand is up, but is Ntate Kaso, did you want to make additions before?
Yes, Madam Speaker, with your permission.
Please proceed.
Just to indicate that for next week, we may need to add some business that will be completed today. For instance, I don't know what the intention is around the Section 25 matter, but I hear the committee will be reporting next week. So we're just saying that there should perhaps be that flexibility, because it's the last week of sittings, that any business that has to be finalized before we adjourn, it be added for next week, especially those that relate even to statutory appointments. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you.
I do not know if I should, you'll guide me, ma'am, when I should present on the framework, but I think I should pause here for now.
Okay. Ntate Singh?
Yes, thank you, Honourable Speaker. Thank you for the report. I just wanted to know, through you to Mr. Kaso, on items 4, 5, and 6 today, are we dealing with them as separate reports and separate declarations? And then with regard to the 3rd of June, in the program that I have here, which I received yesterday, says second reading debate, liquor products amendment bill. And I think I noticed that was changed. It's now a consideration of the reservations. So if you can just explain those two things, thank you.
Thank you very much. Member Jackie, will you please mute? We can pick up your sounds. Ntate Kaso?
Madam Speaker, the information I have on the matters for today is that they will be dealt with separately. But Member Jage was dealing with the matter. She might have additional information on the matter. Now, on this one, because it's a bill that had come back from the President, that is why it is reflected in this manner. It's a bill that was referred back to Parliament. And it's just the way it is captured in terms of practice. It's not like a bill that is coming from a committee where you must first have the second reading of the bill. Thanks.
Member Jackie? Member Jackie?
Honourable Speaker, I am fine. I think Honourable Mr. Kaso has just actually articulated it properly. Thanks.
Okay, Ntate Singh, have you been addressed properly?
Well, I think so. We'll deal with the report separately this afternoon. And no, I think it covers it. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable members, I don't have any other hand on this item. I take it that we will take note of the possibility of making space in next week for the matters as proposed by Ntate Kaso, and that will accord well with all of us. If there is no other input on item 7, and I do not have any announcement, does any member have an announcement? Dr. Kasi, your hand has just gone up.
Madam Speaker, the issue of the framework.
The framework, yes, I'm sorry.
Summarize the matter because it was presented to the WIPARI, but I think it's important for the program committee as well. If I may have it on the screen, but just to indicate that the NA, will be concluding business next week and going into recess to come back on the 17th of August. That time will be open for plenaries and committees, 17th to the 3rd of September. And the reason really is so that the NA can deal with urgent business that needs to be dealt with. There could be statutory appointments, there could be legislation that needs to be passed to meet certain time frames. So it's important that we create space for the NA to come back and deal with those matters. And then on the 6th of September, we go into constituency period until the 4th of October, which is 4 weeks. And then from the 5th of October to the 15th of October, we deal with the BRRs. And the reason why it's placed there is because it has to consider, among other things, annual reports from departments. And then after that process, we'll go into another constituency until the 1st of November. The MTBPS, the proposal is that it be tabled on the 2nd of November. And what this means is that the NA will then go into December, about a week into December. And I think after that, committees will meet for another week. Madam Speaker, these are the NA inputs into the framework, which will be considered next week at the JPC. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Members, there is the framework. Any takers? Medla Kude?
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. The framework was presented to us in the Chief Whips Forum yesterday, and we agreed with it for now, given the fact that we are still going to consult, because the concern was about whether we are going to have the elections or not, as the Museneke Commission is dealing with this thing. So you have responded earlier to say that we'll be writing to him. So we are fine for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. As soon as we get the response, we'll get back to all the honorable members of the programming committee on this matter of the elections. Is there any other member? None. Is there any member with any announcement? None. Mayor Lakudi, your hand has just come up again.
Just to indicate, Honorable Speaker, to inform this meeting that the funeral service of the late Honorable Mpho Hasibonwe is in progress as we speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you for alerting us, ma'am. We hope that it goes well and that her soul rests in perfect peace. Honorable members, on that note, I close this meeting and thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ndade.